I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk to folks from the VTuber community about their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. We are joined by Ghostie. Hi.
Hi.
Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I am Pillowcase Ghostie, the ghostie with the mostie, toxic queen and cringe lord extraordinaire, at your service.
And well, that's certainly a combination, isn't it? You can get away with just about anything.
Like I like to say, bullying is my love language.
Listen to that. If that's not a mustache twirler, I don't know what is. Well, how long have you been doing the YouTube thing?
So like about a year. I took a little bit of a hiatus, so I've been back for like about a month or two.
Yeah. Did you get
We'll just say a year.
Did you get your wind back while you were taking the time off, or?
I did. I had a lot of rest. I got a cat.
Yeah. Well, that'll take your mind away from everything as they destroy stuff. I've got 8 of them.
Ooh, I want to see pictures.
Oh boy, I've got 2 indoor ones and 6 of them that came and adopted us. That were catch and release, spayed and neutered cats that decided, come to visit us. So yeah, lots of litter boxes in the house. They don't like to share. But so you've been going on for a little while. So off. You were off for a little while, but mostly for a year. What got you started?
So a couple of my friends were streaming, and I was like, well, that looks kind of fun. So I just kind of popped it up one day, and then I streamed for 5 hours on my very first stream before I realized that the thing disconnected about 30 minutes in. So I talked to myself for 5 hours.
Well, I was in radio. We're kind of used to that. We don't do that. It's actually, it brings up something I want to ask you about. Have you been someone who would rather speak in front of an audience or speak like this into a microphone and not really know who's there listening to you?
Well, I mean, that's kind of like what it is with streaming anyways. Sometimes you don't really know who's exactly lurking. 'Cause a lot of people lurk and they'll never make themselves known in the chat or even follow, but they'll still be there listening. So I just kind of always act like that's the case and try to entertain whoever's listening regardless of if they are a known audience member or not. I don't know how to phrase that.
Well, I mean, have you been a person who wanted to be when you were a small ghost? Did you want to be an entertainer?
No, I wanted to work in animation. I don't act like it a lot online. I'm very boisterous and cringy and everything, but really, like, I'm very shy.
Yeah.
So a lot of this has been getting me kind of, getting at me out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, but has it stretched your comfort zone though? Are you a little more apt to talk to folks you don't know?
Yeah, I think it definitely has. Like, I've been a little more comfortable approaching people and being like, hey, you're kind of cool. Let's talk and see if we, hit it off as friends or not. When before I would just kind of admire from afar and wistfully hope that they would notice me, senpai, kind of thing.
I'm here against the wall, please.
Yes. Like, please notice me.
But no, don't really notice me, but notice me. I like that type of thing.
Exactly. Like, notice me, but don't pay attention to me, but notice me.
So this is really got the chance for you to express yourself online with that bit of shield between you and people you don't know.
For better or worse, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So for worse, now how could it be for worse?
Sometimes I listen back to some of the things I say on stream and I'm like, oh my God, like, what are you doing? Like,
How can you be a cringe lord without some cringe?
That is true, that is true, and when I see someone go like, "Oh my god, no, please stop," like, there's nothing that gives me more joy than that, but then I have to deal with my own cringe later off stream when I'm trying to edit clips. So I kinda pay for it a little bit.
That is true. And back in the radio business, we used to do things called air checks, where if especially if you were a music DJ type of person, and the cassettes would only record when you were on the air, and the bosses would always say, "Always listen to your air checks." I said, "I know what I said. I don't want to hear it again."
Exactly. It's like it's always harder to hear your own voice and then just kind of realize how it actually sounded, even if you were fine with how it sounded otherwise.
Yeah, it's automatic cringe, and I don't put it
Yep.
on record. Gee, but it sounds like you've really settled into it pretty quick. And are you comfortable now behind the microphone?
More or less, yeah. As long as everything's working, you know. They
Hmm.
they say that you can't be a VTuber without a lot of scuff, and that's definitely been ringing true some of these days.
Yeah. There's always when there's a microphone involved, there's always a chance of something going wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That's all there is to it. I don't care if you're calling bingo numbers at 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 an old folks home. It's still got a chance of something going. You're going to say something that shouldn't have been around the microphone, or someone else is going to say it, which makes it
Mm-hmm.
even better. Have you been able to do any collaborations with folks yet? And if you have you had those instances where they've said something you didn't want?
Um, I have had a lot of collabs, but for the most part, everyone, you know, because they're also streamers, they know like where our boundaries are for the most part.
Mhm.
And I pretty much only collab with people that I play with off stream too, so I know what they're likely to say. Like if they happen to like rage in a game or something, I know they're not going to go off and say gamer words or anything. Not that I would be friends with anyone who did anyway,
Oh no,
but
never.
no, like my biggest hindrance and why I normally don't stream when my boyfriend home, who I refer to as Meat Man on stream,
Yes.
is because he'll just randomly scream in the background. So that's my biggest fear.
Yep, he's one of them.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And and it's not even just being angry; he just likes making noise.
well, I'm between my wife and I'm the one that would be playing games, and I tend to scream in my own head. I've got such a big pumpkin head; it just rattles around, and it's even worse by the time it comes out. But yeah, but again, when you're streaming and you're playing the game, is it tough for you to maintain what you're trying to do in the game and interact with the chat?
It can be sometimes. Um, like especially like depending on what the game is. Like one of the biggest ones I play is Overwatch, which is like a first person shooter
Right.
character based game.
Yeah.
And if I get really into it, I really want to win. I'm doing really good, and then suddenly like someone raids my chat, and there's a ton of people suddenly chatting. It's like I get tongue tied trying to like thank everybody while still maintain my composure in the game, and I end up either ignoring one or the other, and usually I'll choose the chat, honestly.
And no bad words that accidentally slip out while that's happening, do they?
No, nothing too bad. I mean, I am a toxic gamer, but I'm not like I try to be funny toxic. Like if you
Yeah.
were like playing games with your friends and you know, you rib each other a little bit.
Yeah.
Um,
There's a difference between
like I'm def
ribbing. There's a difference between ribbing and then just being, nasty.
exactly. Like I'll say GG easy and everything like that, or be
Yeah.
like, there was a widow on our team if they're doing really bad, especially if they were mean.
Yeah.
But like I don't go in and like insult someone's mother or their lineage or anything like that.
Well, not unless their mom's playing. I wouldn't do that.
Exactly.
Then all bets are off.
Yeah.
No, I've never going to be good enough at those games to be able to effectively pull that off. I'm afraid I'm stuck. About as far as I'm going to get is uh, Fallout, Fallout 3 and New Vegas. That's going to be probably my limit. Once you get up
I
to
love Fallout.
oh, it's a lot of fun.
It's so
As
good.
soon as I get a computer that will actually run Fallout 4, then I'll play that too.
Oh yeah, it's worth it, especially with the modding community. Like
Hmm.
it's wild.
Yeah, I played everything that you can be played out of New Vegas and 3 now, so I'm ready to move on. I actually played 1 and 2, so um,
Oh,
yeah. The
I
to-
I own 1 and 2, but I haven't actually played them because the isometric threw me off so much.
yeah, it is so much different, and
Mm.
well, there's still a lot of the same involved. Going backwards is a heck of a lot harder than going forwards.
Yeah.
Suddenly you're trying to learn how to use a spear in isometric rather than using a, a a frag grenade in just throwing it randomly. It's a big
Yeah.
difference. So what other
And
games?
like the
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No,
I was gonna say, and the skills and everything are so much more involved in Fallout 1 and 2 too, because they build much more off of tabletop RPGs than modern games do,
right.
even though they all have that basis.
Yeah, yeah. It really does make a difference, especially with death claws.
Hmm. Yes.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
boy.
Death claws in 1 and 2, you just might as well just walk off the screen.
Yes.
Try to get
Yeah.
away from them as much as possible. What other games are you playing right now?
Aside from Fallout, I've been playing a lot of Helldivers 2.
Mm.
My computer does not like streaming that game. I did make an attempt at it last night, and it did. I mean, my viewers saw like 1 frame every minute, so I don't think it was that enjoyable.
That makes it really tough, that game.
Y- Yeah.
It's-
And besides that, I've been playing some Fallout 76 because the show came out, so it just got me in the mood to play that game.
oh, I really want to see that show. I really, really want to see it.
I've only seen the first episode. I'm going to be watching all of it tomorrow,
Uh,
but it's so good already.
yeah, and people were already trying to jam on it when before it came out, and I'm like, I don't care if it's super, it doesn't have to follow the game or anything. I just want to see what it looks like. And
Yeah, and like they put a lot of care into the prop design, and for me, that's kind of like a make it or break it moment with any kind of live action adaptation. Because if like the things that are specific to the universe don't look like they fit in the world,
right,
then I have no immersion. But they put the effort in.
yeah, and so I'm definitely going to be one of these times when I can find a legal stream to watch the shh, watch the entire series. I'm going to edit that part out.
Well, since you're editing that part out anyway, if I find anything, I'll send it your way.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But
No
no,
problem.
I'll be watching that whole thing because it's just too much fun. Now I have
Hmm.
not, 76 came out and it did not have a particularly fond reception, but I
Oh
understand it's
God.
changed with
Yes.
some what they've done with it. So how is it playing now?
So I am someone that played in the beta and the original release of Fallout 76, so I've seen both sides of it,
Uh-huh.
and it has changed a lot. So when the game first came out, there were no human NPCs, even though they could be there. Like there's people like the second it came on PC, people were hacking human NPCs from Fallout 4 into Fallout 76. Like it was a mess. But and like the world just felt so empty. For one, like you get through the quest line so quickly in the original version. There's only robots to talk to aside from other people because they wanted people to facilitate the NPCs, and it didn't work. Like
Mm,
it's a cool idea, but they didn't put the time and effort into making that work.
ah,
But now it's like playing a multiplayer Fallout game, which is what the intention was and what it should have been. So if
ah,
you start it now for the first time, you'll have fun.
good. I might be able to run that game. I don't know. We'll see. The old laptop is not what it used to be, and it never
Yeah.
never really was to start with. And now
Yeah.
and we'll see if I can run that. But so that sounds like a lot of fun, and it does sound like you're playing quite a few multiplayer games with folks
Mhm.
outside. Do you enjoy being on with other folks, or would you rather do it by yourself?
It depends on the day. Like when I stream, especially, it can be more fun to play multiplayer games when you're streaming because then you've got other people to bounce off of,
Hmm.
and that can make for good content in itself, or just a good time, so it doesn't feel like a drag.
Hmm.
Because if you're not having fun, the people watching aren't having fun.
Yep,
But in my
exactly.
own time, I still play a lot of Overwatch. Like before the interview, I was playing Overwatch with some friends, and we were actually we were actually gearing up to play 76 together.
Oh,
Um, But aside from that, I've been working through Horizon Zero Dawn, for instance, which is a single player game. And I play a lot of indie games, Stardew Valley, stuff like that.
Now you're talking because I've been staying as far away from Stardew Valley as possible because I have over 30 save files.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and if I get started now, I'm never going to get any interviews done or work or anything else.
Yeah.
it
And then if you add mods to it, like forget about it. Your whole like time is just devoted on that game because there's so much you can do. There's modders have gone insane with that game, just expanding the world even more so than the developer has.
yeah, and the developer has been great in allowing them to do that,
Mm-hmm.
and great anyway. And that I guess the newest updates change the game and make a lot of things completely different. And I'm so looking forward
Oh.
to that I am not even turning on the computer that it's on.
I knew it had an update, but I didn't know it was that extensive. I might
Yeah,
have to.
yeah. I hear that there are some things that are a lot tougher to do. There's new festivals. There's new
Ooh.
crops. There's new um, interactions with people. There's new clothing for people. They
Ooh.
have winter
I
clothes
think
now.
I did hear about that where he wanted to be like people wouldn't be wearing shorts in winter anymore.
Although it was kind of funny to see some of them wearing shorts in winter, but
That
the
it was, but
yeah. So and an entirely new farm to start with.
ooh, okay, yeah, okay. I might be having to play that, play some of that this
Yeah,
weekend.
yep. Then you can blame me for doing that. That's perfectly fine.
I will.
I'll watch you play instead of me playing.
Mhm.
Is there any other games coming up that you're looking forward to and wanting to get on stream?
Um, no.
Yeah, I mean, I ask folks this,
No,
that
I
there
don't have
doesn't seem any be
anything.
really big ones on the horizon right now.
Yeah, like everything that I've been kind of into has like already been out, and honestly, like my wallet's been taking a pretty big hit with the games I do have, so I've been trying not to look at what's coming either too because of that.
Well, having said that, are there some games you have right now that you haven't streamed that you want to?
Yes. I've been wanting to replay a game called Firewatch because I
Okay.
played that when it first came out, which looking at my Steam page was in 2016 is when I played it.
Wow.
And it's a beautiful story. And I know this story, I know what happens and everything, but I wanted to be able to re-experience it with people.
Hmm.
And another one that I did play once on stream but didn't get through because I got it on Game Pass and then I didn't realize I was definitely not going to finish it before it was off of Game Pass was Omori.
Oh, now what is that about?
So that one, it's kind of I don't know a lot about the story or anything. I didn't get very far into it yet, but it's kind of like one of those games that's inspired by Earthbound, so it's got
Okay.
that kind of vibe to it.
Uh, and
But it's
and
got kind of a heavy story to it, from what I understand.
you have to get immersed into it, and
Yeah,
you probably had it just enough to dip your toe in the water, and that's about it.
yeah, exactly. So like, I don't even really remember everything that's happened, so I'm kind of like in the perfect spot to restart it.
Well, have you got anything big planned this year for your channel?
Um, Nothing like too huge. Mostly, I just want to uh, get my habits back up since I have been gone for a long time.
Hmm.
Get more in the habit of doing art streams regularly as well, since I did those very sparingly before, but people seem to enjoy them.
Yeah,
I've been told.
folks are getting into it,
Go ahead.
into the art stuff for quite a bit. And have you always been
Yeah.
an artist type person?
Yeah, I've started taking art seriously when I was 11,
Mm, that's pretty
and
easy.
I'm
That's pretty early. Yes.
years old now.
Yeah. You're years old. Yeah. The
Yeah.
but the fact is that you started early. Was it spurred on by classes at school, or was it just something you picked up on your own?
It was inspired by Inuyasha.
Don't say that like it's a embarrassing thing. That's
It is a little bit.
if you were it. Let's face it. If you're going to start drawing something, you start drawing them, and you do pretty well. You're drawing something.
That's true. And like a big part of it was like I got into it very hard. Like I was I was in middle school, so I took it very seriously. Like it was my life was that show. If I could make a school report about the show, I would, and I did. That's how into it I was. And I started seeing fan art of it, and I was like, I want to be able to draw stuff like that. So I started picking that up, and now here I am today.
So did you continue with art education in school, or did you pursue it any further?
I did. I went to animation school for a little bit. Um, then learned the industry is insanely competitive
Mm.
and lost my drive for that. And now I mostly do illustration and do smaller animations on my own time. Ultimately, I'd like to do like little animated shorts for YouTube eventually, but I'm not at that point yet.
So let me throw a big goal out there and see if it's a dream you'd hitch onto. I One of those novel type games where there's a lot more art and some storyline to it, and maybe a Danganronpa type of thing.
Oh, I love Danganronpa.
Yeah. So would you be thinking about doing one of those on your own?
That could be an idea. I have wanted to make a game, honestly, and I think like a visual novel kind of style would kind of be within my skill set since I don't know how to do the development part.
Yeah, I mean a good visual novel, if you know how to do it, doesn't necessarily mean to have a whole lot of action type stuff to it, but a good storyline and definitely has to have the art to go with it.
Yeah.
And a few voice actors now and again would probably help. But really that might be something to shoot for in the future. That it would be interesting to see. There's a lot of folks now who are showing their art skills online. To me, that takes a lot of courage to do
Hmm.
because it's like showing your baby online. This is,
It really is. Like you put like depending on the piece, it can take hours if not days. Some pieces can even take months depending on how intensive you're getting into it.
yeah,
And it can be scary to throw it online to get, you know, hopefully compliments.
yeah.
But sometimes you might not even get noticed, which can be kind of heartbreaking. It's very hard to um to wrestle with the fact that just like anything online, you have to build up that audience a
Yeah.
little bit.
Plus, you have to rely on other people's tastes.
That too.
Yeah. And sometimes you just have to realize that nobody has good taste but you.
Exactly.
I'm not egotistical as far as that goes at all. I just know they're wrong.
No, not at all. I'm perfect. It's everyone else that's wrong.
That's right. When you get to be my age, you'll realize that even more. But it's great that you're able to do this, and you've been able to, despite yourself saying that you were a bit introverted before, you're able to do this now with people around the world. And
Mhm.
and how else would you have done that without this particular medium?
Yeah, and then like it's crazy because like just a few years ago, like I wouldn't have ever thought that I would be into streaming. Like I always thought it was something that people that have more nerve have to do, or people that like have a cam, like a webcam would do. Like I didn't really even consider that I could do like the whole VTuber thing
Hmm.
and still like gain an audience with that.
And here you are.
Hmm.
That's pretty good. I mean, you took a break and came back, and now you're ready to head back at it full steam.
Ready to make everybody around the world cringe with me.
Well, we'll join you in that cringe. How about that?
Absolutely.
Folks, if you want to check out, see what Pillowcase Ghostie's got going on, we're going to have the links in the description for this particular interview. And it has been an absolute pleasure talking with you and meeting you. And when you got stuff going on, let me know. We'll do some updates for you, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.